Muy bienvenidos al Cinematógrafo. Hoy tenemos literalmente un programa especial. A veces nos aportamos de la cartelera y nos dedicamos a un director, nos dedicamos a un tema en general. Hoy el invitado de honor es Sylvain George, es un director francés, uno de los grandes cineastas políticos de la actualidad, de todo el cine francés y yo diría del cine europeo en general, un cineasta sin concesiones, un verdadero cineasta porque trabaja absolutamente solo. Estuvimos en Hamburgo con él, hablamos durante un largo trecho y la idea va a ser hoy, hablar en ese diálogo, en alguna forma nos lleva a pensar la totalidad de su cine. Así que hoy es un programa dedicado al gran cineasta Sylvain George, es decir, cine político del primer nivel. So we were talking about your films. The idea is to talk about every film you have done, but especially the last one, which I don't know how to pronounce in French. It is
Paris est une fête.
París era una fiesta, es el título.
Un film en 18 vagues.
Un film en 18 olas. In Spanish it's like that. It has been in Argentina. It was in Bafisi, it was in Cine Migrante, in the middle was in Physique. And it has a Córdoba release and also Rio Cuarto. So it's a film that more or less the people know, and of course the most important film for Argentinians has been Figuras de la Guerra, which has been in all Buenos Aires, in Córdoba, in Rosario, because it was the Bafisi winner in 2011. That's right. Absolutely. So I was wondering, one of the figures that it's quite clear in your cinema is the figure of the immigrant. Immigrants, it's not only a figure of a problem of not being capable of living a place. It's something else, which is, I would say, is the upheavals in capitalism as a system in itself. So can you a little bit talk about the relationship between why you have chosen that figure, which is the immigrant, as the main core of your films, particularly?
It's a big question.
Well,
I think at the beginning, there are many reasons, but one of the most reasons is that I think the immigration and the migrants is a good indicator of the state of the democracy of the contemporary society right now. With this figure, you can studies, analysis, try to understand the world now. And also, of course, the question of immigration, I think it's not only a question for the migrant or about immigration, it's a question which touch everybody. I think that all the people that I knew have some immigration in their own biography. It's in the first generation or the two, three,
yes.
And I think it was very interesting for me to work about this question. Of course, I think I have some personal reason. 3 or 4 generations before, some immigrant was here in my family. And perhaps in the same time, even if I'm not a migrant in France, I'm perhaps more or less a migrant also in France. For me, the migration means not only the people who came from another country, but who came from a point to another point. And I think that everybody, in their own process, in this interrogation about the life, in his essay to define his own life and liberty as a human being, have to start to leave a point to somewhere. Mm-hmm. For me, the The cinema is a way to try to define myself, my relationship between me and the world, to try to understand me, and of course to try to destruct all the form of determinism, social, ethnic. The main point, what we can consider with the traditional concept of origin, to try to destruct this concept. The origin is not the point where you come from, but is a process to try to define yourself. It's in a way a kind of migration. So I think the question of migration, to try to work about this idea, so to work of course about myself, I have the necessity to try to make a dialogue with some reality that we call immigration, with some people that we call migrants, but it's not. But it's a deep question that I think touch everybody and give a deep interrogation about all the society right now.
There is one perspective that repeats in itself in your films, and I have heard you to talk about it. It's the idea of indeterminacy.
Yeah.
You were talking about determinism, which is in a way an understanding of the whole status of a society, which is never changing. It's always the same, and people who were born in a place should be always there. The whole structure of society, the economics, and so on. So that is the idea of determinism.
Yeah.
On the other hand, your cinema is a cinema which is fighting for the other way. What exactly, when you are shooting and thinking your film, in what specific way you capture that?
For example, the film that I made, which won the Bafisi, was supposed to be at the beginning a short film, and it became a feature film of 2 hours and a half minutes. So
yeah, that's.
So it's a way to work to respect the process, and in the same time to take the occasion to have all the liberty to make what the film have to be, in a sense, But it's not determined only by the question of the production. It's not determinism. The film is not determined by only the question of the money. I went on Calais. I was supposed to stay 3 months to make just one sequences, and when I was on the place, I quickly understand that I need to stay more. I don't know how many times, but I say, okay, I have to stay here the time that I need, and I have to find myself. I have to find a way to make the film, to develop some economic strategy, this kind of stuff. So the film at the beginning was supposed to be a short film, and after become not only one feature film, but I make a second one. So it's 2 feature films, and I had made I think 15 short films about this place.
In your last film, Paris era una fiesta, there is a certain moment which is absolutely strange for the film, which is the one of Mohammed is the name of him. You don't only see him as someone who is sleeping on the streets. Somehow he starts singing. Somehow you create a kind of Hans ballet in the middle of the film. So in a way, that is the indeterminacy of the representation. Because when we see a character who is an immigrant, we just see him as an immigrant. So I wonder if I'm right.
The idea, of course, absolutely. The idea is to try to. For me, the cinema is like that. Is to try to destroy the traditional representation that you can have, that the society can have about one people or about a category of people or a view of a classes or something like that, and try to destruct this, to make a deconstruction of the representation and try to build another presentation. Of course, the presentation is my own presentation. The film is the result of the dialogue that I try to engage with the subjects, with the reality, what the confrontation provoke in me, But I try to present something, not to represent something, to present something. And the presentation is the result, but I don't think in terms of result, but in terms of process. But if we have to think like that, the film is the fruit of the dialogue that I engage with some reality. and it's a presentation. It's of course against the representation, and I think it's like that you of course mobilize this category of indetermination. If you consider that all the reality is is new.
Well, it was something that, in fact,
everything is finished, it's closed. It's the reality that a main ideology can give you, but deeply life is not like that.
No, theoretically,
sorry,
no,
I speak too much,
no.
but it's what is absolutely wonderful. How at each moment, each second, something different can appear. You know.